herzlich willkommen zurück. Malibu and Friends, wenn man das so sagen will, aber diesmal wirklich etwas ganz Besonderes. Wir haben heute Steven Whitsitt zu Gast.
I think the thing I'm most proud of probably is the smile cover. And the just the way that it came about, and it was the most direct collaboration between him and I. Interesting, it was my first time meeting Lisa Marie, and it was the first of my opportunities to learn that I didn't really know what certain protocols were. And I was like, oh my goodness, and it was the beginning of knowing that I had to just be careful. So that happened. I don't think that Lisa ever liked me from that day on,
Oh
but
Gott.
that's okay.
You can take a break, catch your breath. This is gonna take a moment. Steve hat gerade erzählt, er hat wieder angesetzt bei diesem Testshooting, das er mit Michael gemacht hat, dass danach Bob Jones ihm nochmal Bescheid gesagt hat, ja, Michael mag dich, mag deine Arbeit. Und dann kam aber erstmal nichts. Okay. Can you tell us a bit more about the actual teaser, or is that when it all starts to blur?
Well, luckily I have a couple of photos. Um, and the the day that was most exciting was the day there were, I think, a couple of days when we had all of the soldiers, and from what I understood, there were a couple of different military units that were there, that they basically said, "Hey, can we use them for this shoot?" And they ended up being extras in the shoot, and it was really fascinating, and the whole it's it's funny. I always wish that I had, for a lot of the videos and stuff like that, I wish I had had access to kind of what the vision of it was beforehand. And I think that I would have been able to make better choices as to what to photograph and where to be. I didn't do badly there, but it was just all happening so fast. And and again, I didn't, nobody said, okay, like nobody even really ever told me, you know, was it okay to just walk up to Michael at any time and talk to him? And and I sort of always sensed that Michael had a lot of different things on his mind, and there were frequently a lot of people around him, and I just kind of always wanted to respect his space. So there were many times over the time that I worked for him that I just kind of made the choice to give him space, just because I felt like that was probably better for him, and I would only initiate a conversation if I had something very specific to talk to him about. Um, so
Mhm.
I feel like that was just sort of like a trial by fire of getting mm, getting my feet under me and trying to figure out what my role was, and stuff like that. Um, and so, the it's funny because, I mean, we were there for, I want to say, 6 days, and it just all went so fast. The thing that's got the most very specific memories was actually when Michael and Lisa went to the hospital, and seeing seeing the expressions on the children in the hospitals was always really incredible. And I remember there was a little boy who must have been burned, and he had like foam on his face that I guess was part of the treatment for the burns. But and I don't think that of all of the different parts of Michael's legacy, I don't think that this part gets talked about enough. You know,
Mhm.
people talk about the dancing, people talk about the songs and the videos and stuff like that, and then people talk about the controversies, and I just don't really care to even discuss those things. But to see the compassion and empathy that Michael brought with him into the hospitals and with the children and even with the nurses and the hospital staff and all of that, um, that touched me deeply, and it it's something that I carry as the most treasured memories of my time with Michael, was that I got to go and witness that. The only I never asked Michael to have a picture taken with him. There, there's not there's not a posed picture of me with Michael. I never asked Michael to sign anything, and that was sort of by my own design, because I just felt like that I didn't want him to see me as a fan. I wanted him to see me as a um, you know, as as close to a peer as I could be. But there's a piece of video from when Michael and Lisa were in Memphis, and we went to the St. Jude Children's Hospital, and it's the only video that exists of me with Michael. And it's funny, there's one little moment in this video where you can see I sort of bend close to Michael's ear, and I said something to him. I have no idea what I said, but I cracked him up, and it's those are the moments that it's like I'm glad that that exists, but I don't have any record of it. I don't have any record of like a picture of me and Michael together. And you know, but it's like I have what's in my brain and what I remember and the feelings that I have and all of that. So um anyway, I kind of went off on a tangent there, but that was the experience in Budapest was just really like just a whirlwind of craziness. I guess would be
Yeah.
the way to bring it all together. It was a whirlwind of craziness.
All right, thank you. Ähm, Steve hat uns gerade noch weiter erzählt, dass es wohl recht aufregend war, mit den Soldaten in Budapest zu drehen. Und dass er sich damals gewünscht hätte, er hätte schon vorher Zugang dazu gehabt, was genau der Plan für den Teaser war, damit er dann seine Fotos auch daran ausrichten könnte. Und so war das wieder eine Situation, in der er eben einfach nur versuchen musste, einfach sein Bestes zu tun und irgendwie zu erahnen, was Michael gefallen würde, ohne eine Anleitung dafür zu bekommen. Offenbar hat er das ja gut gemacht. Er wusste zum Beispiel auch nicht, ob es okay wäre, einfach zu Michael zu gehen und ihn anzusprechen. Also auch da wieder, wie habe ich mich hier zu verhalten? Der Mann hat genug um die Ohren. Ne, der hat 1000 Dinge, an die er gerade denkt, während er hier sein Projekt bearbeitet. Und dann hat er sich wohl die meiste Zeit dafür entschieden, Michael in Ruhe zu lassen und ihn nur mit ganz spezifischen Fragen angesprochen. Und er erzählt, dass in Budapest alles wahnsinnig schnell hintereinander passiert ist, und er beschreibt es als ein Wirbelsturm der Verrücktheit. Also, dass es da drunter und drüber gegangen ist. Er erinnert sich aber total gerne an diesen Besuch, den Michael und Lisa Marie dem dem Krankenhaus, dem Kinderkrankenhaus da abgestattet haben. Er erinnert sich an die Gesichtsausdrücke der Kinder da. Er erinnert sich besonders an einen Jungen, der offenbar Brandwunden im Gesicht hatte. Und er hat gerade nochmal sehr betont, dass es einfach ein so wichtiger Teil von Michaels Leben war, über den nicht annähernd genug gesprochen wird. Dass man immer natürlich über die Musik spricht und über die Skandale spricht, aber nicht darüber, wie viel Michael einfach gegeben hat, wie wichtig das Michael war, sich um die Kinder zu kümmern und dass er mit so viel Mitgefühl da aufgetreten ist, sowohl den Kindern gegenüber als auch den Leuten, die da im Krankenhaus gearbeitet haben. Und dass ihn das sehr berührt hat und dass er das für sein weiteres Leben auch mitgenommen hat er uns gerade beschrieben. Das sei wohl eine seiner wichtigsten und liebsten Erinnerungen an seine Zeit mit Michael. Er hat außerdem nochmal beschrieben, dass er ja dadurch, dass er Michael eben möglichst auf Augenhöhe begegnen wollte und nicht wie ein Fan rüberkommen wollte, ihn ja nie um ein gemeinsames Foto oder um ein Autogramm gebeten hat. Und dadurch hat er eben auch kein einziges Foto von sich mit Michael. Aber es gibt wohl irgendwo ein Video von einem Besuch in einem Krankenhaus in Memphis mit Michael und Lisa Marie. Und da sieht man wohl ganz kurz, dass Steve Michael was ins Ohr sagt und der dann lachen muss. Vielleicht findet das ja jemand.
Genau.
Das würden
Ja,
wir
ist ja
jetzt
cool.
gerne alle sehen, glaube ich. Aber ansonsten hat er tatsächlich kein einziges Bild von den beiden zusammen. Dafür aber natürlich eine Menge wahnsinnig wertvolle Erinnerungen. Habe ich irgendwas übersehen oder überhört? Okay.
Aber
Gewohnt, professionell, richtig, alles.
Steve, can you name a few of your favorite pictures that you took of Michael? And explain maybe what's special about them, or was there a special story behind one of them?
Let's see. Well, one that I'm going to go in reverse order. One that I really love that so I have many pictures that are up on the website that I make prints for and of and send all over the world, and we can give you guys the link to that. But there's a picture from the You Are Not Alone video, and it's Michael putting his hand into this curtain of water, and he is shirtless, and he's in the middle of singing, and basically the water's out of focus and he's in focus, and the waterfall that's behind him is out of focus. And it's just it's a cool moment. Um, and it's funny because when I put pictures up and offer them for sale, it's like I sort of think that people will have the same reaction to them as I do, and I think that that's just a beautiful image of Michael, and it's a special moment. Um, and if you knew, so that was in the middle of the night in Los Angeles. We were outside at the botanical gardens, I think in Pasadena, and the climate there, a lot of times the temperature will drop a lot during the night, and it was really cold. and and so I like the things that Michael would do in different videos and stuff like that, where like the another one, for example, is the childhood video, the that we shot that in two parts. One part was at a camp way up in the mountains that ironically I had worked at several summers before. I had worked in this camp, and when they sent me the directions to it, it was like, wait, this looks really familiar. And lo and behold, it was the exact camp that I had worked in probably 6 or 7 summers before that.
Mm.
And that was just a strange kind of irony. But it was, at an elevation of about between 5 and 6,000 feet. And it gets really, really cold at night. And so we're out there throughout the night, and poor Michael is freezing himself to death. And but it was just like he just would do whatever was necessary for the shoot. Um, so anyway, so going back to that other picture, the You Are Not Alone, I just always really, really loved that image. Um, it's one of my, it's hard to say like, oh, this specific image is my favorite. They're all my favorites. I love all of them. Um,
I know we joked before that it was kind of like asking you which one is your favorite child.
right, right.
Ja. Mhm. Ja.
And Um, looking over. Oh, I included, it's interesting. I included the picture from Smile that I had made into a poster with the type in it. Um, but there's also, when we did that Smile session, I asked Michael if we could do just some portraits of him without the mustache and all of that. And there are several that I did from that I just absolutely love. And there's sort of an intensity to Michael. I mean, when he would smile, his whole face would light up and all of that. But when he wasn't smiling, when he was serious, there's just such a depth to the soul in his eyes that I think I caught in several of the portraits that I did of him over the time. Um, so do you want to pause there and then I'll talk to you about
Okay, Beten von Michael gemacht hat, zu sprechen, vom You Are Not Alone Videodreh erwähnt, das ihr jetzt, glaube ich, auch sehen könnt. Und erklärt da, dass er die Komposition natürlich mag, dass Wasser vorne ist, nicht im Fokus ist, Wasser hinten ist auch unscharf. Der Fokus ist total auf Michael. Es ist so eine richtige Momentaufnahme, in der die Stimmung rüberkommt. Und das ist wohl aufgenommen direkt vor dem Botanischen Garten in Pasadena und nachts, und da muss es bitterkalt gewesen sein, ähnlich wie beim Childhood-Dreh in einem Camp in den Bergen, in dem Steve lustigerweise ein paar Jahre vorher auch schon mal gearbeitet hatte, das er also wiedererkannt hat, auf so 5.000 bis 6.000 Fuß Höhe. Da war es auch bitterkalt, und Michael hat sich das aber wohl einfach nie anmerken lassen. Der Perfektionist, der er war, hat er immer genau das gemacht, was jetzt gerade der Dreh vorsah, und dann eben auch oberkörperfrei im eiskalten Wasser gedreht. Außerdem hat sie von der Smile-Foto-Session nochmal gesprochen, bei der er dann auch Porträtaufnahmen von Michael gemacht hat, ohne den Schnäuzer. Und da ist er sehr glücklich damit, wie sehr diese Intensität, die Michael in seinem Gesichtsausdruck hatte, rübergekommen ist. Diese Tiefe. Ne, wir wissen alle, wenn Michael gelacht hat, dann hat er mit dem ganzen Gesicht gelacht und man konnte quasi seine Seele lachen sehen. Und wenn er aber nicht gelacht hat und so ernst geschaut hat, dann haben die Augen auch wahnsinnig Tiefe transportiert. Und das konnte Steve hier bei diesen Bildern einfangen.
Wow.
Back to you, Steve.
So let's see what else I include there. One moment that was really pretty incredible during when we were shooting Scream, Michael smashed a guitar, and I was like, first of all, they had all the guitars there, and we shot the scene where he was coming down the ramp with all of the guitars there. But then they told me that he was going to smash one, and I think that, well, I know for sure he smashed two actually, and so I put myself in a place where I like the thing about shooting on a short film is that my job is to capture the action, but my job also is to capture anything that's a special moment behind the scenes. And then and it's, and so like when I'm trying to capture the action, I have to get in such a place that I'm not in the way of the movie camera, but um that I'm also getting a, a picture that looked like it could have come directly out of the movie camera. So I have to be as close as I can without being invasive. And that always is like, it's one of the things, each different type of photography has its own things, its own parameters and stuff like that. So when Michael was getting ready to smash the guitar, I was like, okay, I need to be as close as I can be. And I thought it would be more impactful if I shot it with a very wide angle lens. And so I think I was maybe 4 or 5 feet away from him when he was doing that. And what was interesting was that, and I don't remember if it was the first or the second time, but one of the times that he did it, a piece of the guitar actually landed at my feet. And it was the two knobs that you have for the tone and the volume of the guitar. And they landed at my feet, and I just kind of reached down and picked that up and stuck it into my vest. And I actually still own that. Um, and and one of the things that I've always wanted to do, if like I know that amongst the fan communities there are people that are collectors. Oops, let me correct that. There are people that are collectors, and I've always thought that that is something that's a very, very unique piece of Michael
Ja.
trivia.
Oh
And
yeah.
so what I've always wanted to do was I've always wanted to create a one of a kind piece, a collector's piece with the set of pictures that you see there in that picture, of him smashing the guitar and then holding it up after he smashed it, and and then include with that the piece of the guitar and create like a little shadow box of that,
Wow, ja.
and find the one collector who is willing to pay whatever. I, it's funny because I'm not like trying to make myself a millionaire or anything like that. But for somebody, I think that that would be a very special piece
Ja.
of Michael history. And I would love to find somebody that would want that, that would, that would be willing to pay what was a fair price for it.
I'm
But
sure that there's a few
A
outside.
few.
but the pictures itself, I just love that. I love that sequence, and especially when he's holding the guitar up and screaming,
Mhm.
and he's got his arms spread and he's screaming. I just
Mhm.
think that that's such an interesting sequence of photos. And it was in shooting Scream, there were so many different moments, and I love the moments, the candid moments between him and Janet. Um, I love the individual pictures with Janet. Um, just as one little aside, like by the time we were shooting Scream, I was very comfortable with Michael, and I didn't get nervous talking to him or anything like that. But Janet, this was the only time that I was around her, and she just was so beautiful, and I just got really, really shy around her. And like the longest conversation that I ever had with her was, "Good morning, Ms. Jackson. How are you today?" And that was the extent of my conversations with her. Um, and it's funny because I think that I have a little bit more confidence now, but there's just something about that environment, and there were just so many people around, and all of that, that it was I just got very, very nervous around her. So
She was breathtakingly beautiful.
Ja, she is. She still.
Ja,
Ja.
ja, she still is, ja. Okay, Steve hat uns gerade erzählt vom Scream-Dreh, bei dem er dabei war und bei dem er seine Aufgabe sowohl war, dass er eben die Action fotografiert, als auch Momente hinter der Kamera, die interessant sein können. Das heißt, er musste immer sehr darauf achten, wie er sich jetzt ausrichtet, in welche Richtung er fotografiert, gleichzeitig aber Bilder schießen, Kamera. Schwierig stelle ich mir das vor. Er hat aber gerade bei dieser Szene, in der Michael die Gitarre zerschmettert, wunderbar hinbekommen, dass man quasi ganz nah dabei ist. Er hat erzählt, dass Michael tatsächlich zwei Gitarren zerschmettert hat. Ja, also auf jeden Fall, also Michael hat da zwei Gitarren zerschmettert und bei einem Mal davon ist offenbar ein Teil der kaputten Gitarre direkt vor Steves Füßen gelandet. Und das waren wohl die Knöpfe, mit denen man unter anderem die Lautstärke einstellen kann. Die hat er sich dann mal eingesteckt. Und da ist jetzt noch so die Überlegung, ob man nicht irgendwann aus dieser Fotokollage, die er hat, und diesem Erinnerungsstück ein schönes Sammlerstück machen könnte. Wir sind uns sicher, dass es Leute gibt, die ihr letztes Hemd dafür verpfänden würden. Und er will sich jetzt auch nicht übermäßig an den Fans bereichern oder so. Es wäre ihm nur ein Anliegen, dass das dann zu einem fairen Preis an jemanden ginge, der der das wirklich auch zu schätzen wüsste. Ja, er hat dann noch erzählt, dass es auch die einzige Gelegenheit war, bei der er Janet getroffen hat. Und dass dieses ganze Ambiente mit den ganzen Leuten und dem Dreh und Janet dann auch noch so wunderschön und ihn sehr nervös gemacht hat. Also, dass er mehr als Guten Morgen, Frau Jackson, wie geht es Ihnen heute, nicht geschafft hat, mit ihr zu sprechen und sie ihn sehr beeindruckt hat.
Ja.
Ja.
And even in hearing you repeat that, I still turn red again.
None of us would have felt any differently, I'm sure.
And
would all have been
one
in
of
awe.
the other pictures in the little collection that I sent you is one that there it is the probably the most often reproduced as far as by fans screenshotting it and using it for their profile pictures and all that, which we can discuss how I feel about that. But that's the picture of Michael giving the finger.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that picture.
Me too.
And I didn't screenshot it. I bought it from you.
Yes.
I'm looking at it right now. I
me
love
too.
that picture so much. And you should not steal the work of other people. Please buy if there's something that you really like, pay for it. It's worth it. Okay. Back to you.
But thank you for that. And that sequence was really interesting. That was towards the end of shooting the video, and we had to, like, I had to be very, very close to the camera, and Michael was just singing and gesturing and making fists and stuff like that. And sometimes he, in that one, he's looking directly into the film camera. In some of them, he was looking directly at me. And it was just like the quickest. It wasn't like he said, okay, I'm going to give the middle finger now. And he was sort of really into his role and his motivation for what that song was all about. And it was just a spontaneous thing. And I'm so happy that I was like the other part of shooting stills on a video like that is you just have to be ready for when something like that happens.
Mhm.
I actually did an interview with there's an American blog called Dancing with the Elephant, and and they were asking me, you know, like what if that was planned and they also were like, we didn't see that in the final finished video. And you know, the thing is, when you're shooting a music video, you do multiple takes, and many things can happen. And when the video is getting cut together, you just don't know what's going to be in the finished piece and what's not. And the fact that I have that and it's not in the video actually I think makes it an even more special um, piece of film, and a more special photograph. Um, but it's it's one of my favorite images, and it just was just like very fortuitous, and like a very, you know, I wouldn't say that that was a lucky one, because it was like, well, no, I was in the right place at the right time, which is what my job was. You know, that was my whole responsibility for being there, was to be in the right place at the right time and be ready and make sure that all the elements were there to be able to capture that moment and many others. So,
And we are so grateful that you did.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are.
Do you want me to jump in, or do you want to go on with something else?
I don't know.
Okay,
No, go ahead
then
and
I'll
go
give
ahead
you
and
a
go on,
moment.
and I don't know if there's any. I mean, yeah, there. I'll try to think about what I want to say about the other ones while you're
Okay,
translating. Sorry.
gut. Also wir haben gerade noch über das Bild mit dem Stinkefinger gesprochen, auch vom Scream-Shoot, was ja nachher nicht im Video drin war, weil natürlich nie alle Sachen, die aufgenommen werden, auch im finalen Cut landen. Und für dieses Bild musste Steven ganz nah an der Videokamera stehen. Und er sagte, es war so eine intensive Szene, bei der Michael eben gestikuliert hat. Und manchmal hat er genau in die Videokamera geschaut, wie bei dem Bild. Und manchmal hat er genau in seine Kamera geschaut. Und er ist sehr froh, dass er in der Lage war, diesen eben nicht geplanten und angesagten, sondern sehr spontan entstandenen Moment so festhalten zu können. Und offenbar finden das ganz viele Fans ein ganz tolles Foto. Ich auch, ich habe es hier an der Wand hängen.
Ja.
Aber ganz viele Leute machen einfach Screenshots von und verwenden das dann als Profilbild oder sowas. Und ja, es wär schon schön, wenn man die Arbeit von Leuten tatsächlich bezahlt, statt sie zu klauen. So als
Oder
Hinweis an der
zumindest, wenn
Stelle.
man es postet, dann eben auch dabei schreibt, ne, von wem es ist.
Ja, dann sollte man halt vorher fragen,
Mhm.
ist das dafür
Ja,
freigegeben? Und dann muss
genau.
man immer sagen, wer hat das erstellt,
Ja.
ne? Wessen Werk ist das? Hier auch fotografieren ist eine Kunst. Und dann sollte man bitteschön den Urheber auch angeben.
Ja,
Und wenn jemand sagt, das möchte ich dafür nicht freigeben, sollte man das auch
absolut.
respektieren, denn ein Fotograf macht das ja auch nicht nur als Hobby, sondern lebt davon.
Ja.
Ich finde es auch krass, um das mal kurz einzuwerfen, wenn Fotografen Bilder sind mit Wasserzeichen
Ja.
und Fans, die hat der Fotograf ja schon
Ja.
gesagt, okay, nehmt es aber mit den Wasserzeichen, und das dann wegzumachen, dann lasst
Ja.
es drauf, ne? Also, oder kauft
Genau,
es.
also wenn da schon Wasserzeichen drauf ist, Leute, das hat einen Sinn.
Genau.
Lasst es drin.
Ja.
Und wenn ihr die Bilder ohne Wasserzeichen haben wollt, könnt ihr die auf seiner Homepage als Prints bestellen. Und also ich habe 2 von ihm an der Wand hängen. Ich freue mich da jeden Tag drüber.
Ja, ist auch toll.
So, Werbung Ende. Steve, back to you.
Okay. I'm just curious about what that conversation was there.
The last part was like a piece of information, public information, that it's not okay to use people's work without their consent and without credit to the person who worked on that, and that it's even worse than just screenshotting is like editing out the watermark.
Yes.
and that people should just buy your work if they love it.
Well, thank you for
Ja.
that. So the other ones that I included, there's one of Michael solo in the woods in the camp that we worked at for the childhood video. Um, and that was an interesting, I mean, again, it was very, very cold that night. And and it was interesting because for Michael's part of that video, he is sitting on the stump. He doesn't dance, he doesn't move around, he doesn't, and he's looking up a lot. And and again, I didn't see what the plan was for the video, so it was just like, okay, well, we're shooting a video of Michael sitting on a stump in the woods.
Of course, you
What's
couldn't
going
see
on?
like the kids in the sky
But
and
so
stuff.
at one point, Michael was taking a break and he was in a vehicle, and I went and got in the vehicle and sat and talked to him for a while. And and he then explained to me what the concept of the video was. And I said, "Well, are you going to be there when they're shooting the kids part of it?" And he's like, "No, I'm not going to be there." And I said, "Well, do you think that I should be there just to capture some of those images?" And he was like, absolutely, yes, that's a great idea. And I said, well, here's what I would like to do. I said, I think that it would be really cool to get some pictures of the kids, like more kind of in a studio way. And so what we did was that we had the stump brought up, and I set up some lights, and we did pictures of I did a lot of individuals and ones and twos of the kids, but then I at one point I gathered a bunch of them and I did that group shot, and it was it was interesting. The two little boys that are sitting on the stump are actually Michael's nephews. Um, and um, it just was it just was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of fun for me to sort of see how they were bringing the two elements together, the kids element and then the stuff that we had shot in the up in the woods. And so that's why I wanted to, and that's a picture that's not been seen a lot. I
Mhm.
did give permission to put that into the Dancing with the Elephant blog. So it's in there. But but I just think that that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to get to do that. So
That-
so there you go.
that's such that picture is so full of life
Ja.
and energy. Also Steve hat uns gerade noch vom Childhood-Dreh erzählt, dass das eben so eine kalte Nacht war und er das Konzept des Videos ja vorher nicht kannte und dann ein bisschen überrascht war, dass Michael da einfach auf diesem Baumstumpf saß und nicht tanzte und sich nicht groß bewegte und viel nach oben schaute. Er dachte, was passiert hier eigentlich? Und bei einer Drehpause wurde ihm das dann erklärt und dann hat er Michael wohl gefragt, ob er denn auch dabei sein würde, wenn der Teil mit den Kindern gedreht würde. Nee, ob er denn da sein sollte, um Fotos davon zu machen von den Kindern. Das fand Michael eine super Idee, das wollte er total gerne und das heißt, Steve hat das natürlich auch gemacht, hat allerdings dann auch so ein paar Studioaufnahmen mit den Kindern gemacht. Das heißt, sie haben diesen Baumstumpf dann da aufgestellt und die Kinder da versammelt und er hat so paarweise die Kinder fotografiert und eben dieses eine wunderbare Bild mit der ganzen Kindertruppe fotografiert. Er sagt, er hatte ganz viel Spaß dabei und die zwei Jungs in der Mitte auf dem Stumpf sind Neffen von Michael.
Da muss ich noch herausfinden, welche. Da komme ich gerade nicht drauf. Welche das wohl
Steve,
sein
do you
könnten,
know
die
which
beiden.
nephews they were? No,
No,
we don't know either.
I don't.
Okay, ich
He
muss noch
had
rausfinden.
So
he had a lot.
this was in 1995, so you can kind of
Mhm.
do
the math.
math to that, but I don't know. But there's one other person that's in that photograph that's oh wait, no, she's not there. I'm sorry. One of the people that was that was one of the children that was in that music video was the little girl who played Matilda in
Ah,
the film Matilda,
Mhm.
and that was really cool. She's a lovely kid. So
and maybe after this interview, you'll have to tell, especially Jenny, where that camp is, because she usually goes to all the spots and she hasn't been to the
Yeah,
childhood
no.
spots yet. We talked about that recently when we discussed childhood, and we found out that she has not been there because she
No.
doesn't know the exact location.
okay, well, I will let you know.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Also eins von den Kindern war die Darstellerin von Matilda. Ein Wort, dass Jenny später endlich erfährt, wo genau dieses Camp ist, wo Childhood gedreht wurde, damit sie auch diesem Ort mal einen Besuch
Ja, in 3
abstatten
Wochen.
kann. Ich bin mir sicher, sie lässt uns dann wieder alle dran teilhaben.
Sehr gerne.
Steve, after the history era, did you stay in touch with Michael in any way?
I did not. So the thing about it is, and this is going to be a long answer, so forgive me. The thing is that the day that I got hired, I knew that the job would end. And to this day, I'm not sure the exact reason why they let me go, but they did, and they let me go at the end of the "You Are Not Alone" video, and I have some theories that I'm not going to get into here, but once I was done, I I looked at my career at that point and I was like, well, I'm not going to get a job working for anybody that's bigger than Michael. And I kind of wanted to reinvent myself. And so
Mhm.
I took a year sabbatical and went to North Carolina and did work for a nonprofit foundation there and found that I really loved North Carolina and ended up staying there. And that's where I've been ever since. And so, like, really until Michael passed, I pretty much was completely out of the loop of his of everybody in his organization. I think I might have reached out to Evie, who was his executive assistant, and just to let her know that if they ever needed me for anything, that I was living in North Carolina, and gave her my contact information. But that was it. That was, and once it was done, it was just like, "Boop, that part of my life is done." So
Hm.
Also ich habe Steve gefragt, ob er nach dieser History-Zeit noch Kontakt zu Michael hatte. Und er hat erklärt, dass er quasi bei Antritt dieses Jobs schon wusste, dass der natürlich irgendwann auch mal wieder enden würde. Und das kam für ihn nach dem You Are Not Alone Dreh. Den ganz genauen Grund weiß er nicht. Seine Spekulationen möchte er hier jetzt nicht ausbreiten. Auf jeden Fall, ja, wurde sein Vertrag dann beendet. Und er hat sich überlegt, dass er sich jetzt irgendwie neu erfinden muss, weil er ja wohl kaum mit jemand Größerem als Michael nochmal arbeiten würde. Er ist in dem Zuge dann nach North Carolina gegangen und hat da mit einem Non-Profit-Unternehmen zusammengearbeitet, also mit einer wohltätigen Organisation, und hat sich dann auch so in North Carolina verliebt, dass er da geblieben ist. Er hat Michaels Team nochmal Bescheid gegeben, dass er bereit wäre, falls sie ihn irgendwie nochmal brauchen würden. Dazu ist es dann aber nicht gekommen.
Wie lange hat er denn nochmal genau mit Michael gearbeitet? Vielleicht kann man ihn nochmal kurz fragen.
Can you tell us how long exactly did you work with Michael?
well, I worked as the assistant for 3 years
Mhm.
and as his photographer for about 18 months.
Okay.
Wow,
Almost
okay.
2 years.
So long
Also
time.
3 Jahre als Assistent des Fotografen
Mhm.
und dann nochmal 1,5 Jahre selbst als Fotograf für Michael.
Doch schon lang, ne? Fast
Ja,
5
hat ihn
Jahre.
eine ganze Weile begleitet.
Mhm.
Do you interact with fans much these days?
don't know any fans at all. No, that's not true.
Who are we?
Yes, of course. And I like to, and I sometimes the fans' expectations. I went to, was it 2017 that I did Kingvention, and I had a fan write to me and say, please sign your laminate and send it to me. And I'm like, why would I do that? And I've had people like, can you send me, like, I don't like to just send my signature because it's like, well, what is my signature? I mean, if somebody wants to order a print and have me sign the print, then I'm happy to sign the print. But it's I have very mixed feelings with the fans, and I'm concerned. I see the clock and how much time we have left. Um, the one thing that is my message to the fans that I try to say every single time I'm interacting with them is that if you want to be honoring Michael's legacy, for me, what I think is the most important thing is that Michael was about inclusion. Michael was about protecting the environment, and Michael was about kindness. And so it's like not if you're not involving yourself in those three things, then I don't see how you're honoring Michael's legacy. Um, and those are the things that I try to do to honor Michael's legacy. And so that's kind of to me the most important bit of of what I why I interact with the fans is to get that message out there.
Thank you. Also Steve hat gerade erklärt, dass er sehr unterschiedliche Interaktionen mit den Fans schon hatte, dass er es grundsätzlich liebt, mit den Fans zu interagieren, dass es aber natürlich manchmal auch ein bisschen seltsame Erwartungen gibt. Also nach der Kingvention hat ihn jemand angeschrieben, er möge doch bitte sein, wie nennt man es, das Schildchen, das man um den Hals trägt,
Das Lanyard.
Das Lanyard, ja. Er möge das doch bitte unterschreiben und der Person zuschicken. Und also zum einen möchte er nicht einfach irgendwelche Sachen unterschreiben und zum anderen wäre das auch irgendwie seltsam, wenn er das für eine Person machen würde und für alle anderen nicht wahrscheinlich, ne? Grundsätzlich, wenn jemand zum Beispiel seine Bilder unterschrieben haben möchte, macht er das natürlich gerne. Habe ich übrigens auch schon benutzt. Und seine Botschaft an die Fans ist eben, wenn man Michaels Andenken würdigen möchte, dann sollte man das tun, indem man seine Werte auch vertritt. Und die waren eben in Steves Augen Inklusion, Umweltschutz und Güte anderen Menschen gegenüber.
Also Güte ist eine tolle Übersetzung, ja.
Ja.
Und wenn man diese Sachen selber nicht verkörpert, sollte man sich nochmal überlegen, inwiefern man damit quasi Michael auch auf die Füße treten würde, beziehungsweise seinen Werten widerspricht. Und das sind die Sachen, die Steve eben auch versucht weiterzutragen und die er für sich aus dieser Zeit mitgenommen hat und die Michaels Andenken waren.
Wow.
Jetzt würde ich ihn noch darum bitten, euch allen zu sagen, wo ihr ihn online finden könnt und wo ihr seine Arbeiten kaufen könnt.
Sehr gut.
So, Steve, after all this translation, I'm back asking you, where can people who want to interact with you or buy your work find you online, on social media, your website?
Well, I will send you an actual direct URL to the website.
Yeah, we'll put that in the video description.
But it is, it's so funny. I have 3 different websites, so it's very confusing. Let me make sure I get the right one. It is www.spwhitsitphoto.com. And that's where under the shop heading, you can find the current batch of photos, but then if you also look in the archive, there are previous photos that I had made available, and somebody can purchase any of those. Um, and if there's something that somebody is looking for that they don't see there, then they can reach out to me. And
Mhm.
there's a contact segment on there where you can reach out and send me an email.
Great. And social media, anything you want to mention?
My I don't remember anything. Hold on.
Well,
I
I
need
can
to.
tell you that you're on Facebook and on Instagram,
I
but
well, I am on
I'm not sure which
Facebook.
way you prefer to interact with others.
Yeah, probably more on Instagram. Hold on, let me find that. Oh, and Instagram. It's really hard. It's just Whitsitt Photo, WHITSITTPHOTO.
Thank you.
And
Mhm.
and the first picture that you see is someone holding a print that they ordered from me. So, um, but
Mhm.
keeping up with social media is it's a challenge. Let's just say that. And over the years, I actually interact with social media less because I feel like that it paints a picture of a life that, if people just look at what's on my social media, they might think, "Oh my gosh, you have an amazing life. Everything is great for you." And uh, like every human being on the planet, I have my challenges and I have my difficulties and I have good days and I have bad days and all of that. And if you only are putting up wonderful, exciting things, then they feel like it paints an inaccurate picture of
Yeah,
your life.
social media is far from being authentic.
Yes.
Mhm. Ja, das stimmt.
Also Steves Website, wo man die Prints bestellen kann, packen wir in die Beschreibung dieses Videos. Das heißt, ihr könnt da schauen, welche aktuellen Prints er anbietet. Ihr könnt aber auch im Archiv nachschauen, welche Bilder er früher schon verkauft hat. Die kann man auch nochmal bestellen. Wenn ihr nach was Bestimmtem sucht und das da nicht findet, könnt ihr auch über das Kontaktformular ihm eine Nachricht schicken. Dann schaut er gerne, was er für euch tun kann. Und Social Media, ja, er ist auf Instagram, er benutzt es relativ wenig, weil es ihm nicht authentisch genug ist, weil man da immer diese Hochglanzleben präsentiert bekommt und das Ganze auch mit der Zeit einfach anstrengend wird. Aber man findet ihn auf Instagram und kann sich da auch einen Eindruck von seinen Arbeiten verschaffen.
Cool.
So, wollt
Wunderbar.
ihr zwei noch was sagen oder fragen?
Ich glaube, war jetzt so viel Input.
Steven, what's your favorite MJ song?
Mhm.
Um,
The most difficult
when
question.
when Vanita asked about my relationship with Michael's work prior to meeting him, I've always really loved Man in the Mirror.
Mhm.
But from during the time that I worked with him, we when I was assisting, we got to shoot the MTV 10th anniversary when he sang "Will You Be There?" And that song is just amazing. And the
Mhm.
picture that is in the book Dancing the Dream, there's a picture of Michael being embraced by the angel. And even though I'm not credited that I took that photo, that was when I was assisting, and basically I got placed on the like on a place, and that was my job, was to get that. And I took that photo whilst tears were streaming down my face because it was such an incredibly moving moment. And I
Oh.
can't watch that video without crying. Every single time I see it, I cry.
Wow.
So those are two of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
Great.
I love Scream. I love Smooth Criminal. There's a lot that I love. So
Thank you.
Mhm.
Also Steve hat gerade noch erklärt, dass er Man in the Mirror immer sehr geliebt hat. Und in der Zeit, in der er mit Michael arbeiten durfte, waren ja die MTV Awards, bei denen er Will You Be There performt hat. Und das Bild aus Dancing the Dream, bei dem der Engel ihn dann beim Finale umarmt, hat tatsächlich Steve geschossen, auch wenn es nicht angegeben ist, weil er damals der Assistent war. Und er sagt, er hat das Bild gemacht, während ihm die Tränen übers Gesicht gelaufen sind, weil er es so berührend fand. Und er kann das Video bis heute nicht anschauen, ohne dabei zu weinen. Ansonsten liebt er auch Scream und Smooth Criminal sehr. Und es gibt natürlich eine Menge toller Songs. Jenny, von dir noch irgendeine Frage? Oder?
Ich bin wunschlos glücklich.
Okay. So we want to thank you so much
Yeah.
for taking the time and sharing all these wonderful memories with us. And it's been so much fun. Thank
Well,
you.
Thank
I
you
think
so
that-
much.
I think that Vanita deserves a round of applause and a standing
Yes.
ovation for all of the translation. I don't know how you kept as much in your brain as you did to be able to
You
do
have
it.
no idea whether I did it adequately or not.
But I kind of
She did.
assumed that if you really screwed up that your partners might have spoken up and said something and corrected you. So
Yes.
but
Yeah.
but thank you so much. That's a lot to take on.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
It was
thank
my
you all
pleasure.
for having me. It was a lot of
You did a
fun.
great job, Juanita. Really.
Thank you. But all the honor goes to Steve here because he took like so much time out of his day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just really happy that we got this opportunity.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. Müssen wir noch ein Gruppenfoto machen?
Ja, das müssen
Yes,
wir.
please.
In der Tat.
So we like to always like take a picture of our setting here. So we should all get ready to smile on
Oh,
command.
let me get my hair correct. Wait, hair, makeup. We need to makeup.
Hello.
So who's gonna do your hair and makeup?
I don't know.
Karen Faye.
We're still recording, but I shouldn't say who I don't want to do my makeup.
I guess we have an idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you might.
We'll do it like Michael in the test shoot and do our own hair and makeup.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So, okay.
Okay.
Then,
Ja, ready?
Ja. Moment, ich habe noch hier gerade eine komische Meldung hier auf dem Bildschirm und krieg die. Jetzt ist sie weg. Wunderbar.
Okay.
Okay, then.
So, Steve, if you want to move your head a little bit, because right now one of your eyes is gone. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, amazing.
I didn't need that eye anyway. So
We need all of you.
So,
Yes.
3, 2, 1, smile, please.